What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gold School Retro NBA episode 31, where I'm here to talk about the spin doctor, Rony Seikaly. This is a player that I enjoy watching, especially in my early childhood, going into my early teen years. And he was known for his insane footwork in the paint, and that's why his nickname was the spin doctor. And also, he was the first born Lebanese player ever to play in the NBA. So he set the tone for international players as well. And not only that, he was the first pick, the original pick of the Miami Heat. It goes to show you, man, he left his name in the basketball game, and he actually was known for a lot of double-doubles as well, because he was a block machine and a rebounding machine. But he could also score as well with his insane footwork. Don't forget to smash that like button, share with your friends that love basketball history. I'm Ari Hoops 84, and this is episode 31 of Gold School Retro NBA. Titled The Spin Doctor, Rony Seikaly. Born in Beirut, Lebanon, Seikaly moved to the United States at 10 years old and attended a boarding school in Massachusetts. But when he was at the age of 14, Rony and his family would move to Athens, Greece, where he would finish out the rest of his youth. Not only would Rony do all those things, he would also take up a hobby in DJing, which he started when he was 14 years old. And get this, at the age of 16, Rony caught the eye of Panathinaikos basketball player Takis Koronos. It was our first interaction with Rony when he entered his Koronos athletic store in Greece. Citing the advice of Koronos, he was asked to join the league. He was asked to join Panathinaikos senior team to get more reps and to get more practice in. And in 1982, he would go on to join and play for the team in Cyprus. Seikaly would continue to practice with Panathinaikos until 1983. But Rony would face adversity. Due to not having a passport, or actually a Greek passport, he would not be able to play for the Basket League. And this was due to no foreign players being able to play in the league until 1988. And guys, get this. Rony Seikaly would go on to play for and be recruited by the Syracuse Orangemen, where he would play his college ball in 1983. And get this, during his junior year, he would lead the Orangemen to the NCAA Championship Finals versus the Indiana Hoosiers. That's an incredible feat, man, for a player so young and at his age to make that type of impact. It goes to show you the spin doctor, how serious and how really good he was at the game of basketball, and made his very huge impact on the Orangemen. And the Orangemen team was good, man. Also had another legend, Derek Coleman, who I'll be doing a future tribute for, and Sherman Douglas. But in that finals game, man, Keith Smart would hit a clutch shot with a few seconds left to seal the deal for the Indiana Hoosiers, and it would lead them to their another NCAA title. Rony Seikaly was doing his thing in the NCAA tournament. He was getting busy. He would put up numbers of 22 points per game and 11 rebounds per game. And get this, Rony Seikaly would reach another feat. He would go on to be an All-American, and he would make the John Wooden All-American team. This Rony Seikaly would go on to actually be the all-time leading rebounder in Syracuse Orangemen history. And at that moment, man, that was a wonderful feat, man. Guys, Rony would graduate, and he would actually lead the school in all-time rebounding. Insane, man. Goes to show you the spin doctor, man, was just doing what he had to do, and he was taking down accolades in the NCAA game, and it shows you that all the impact that he had for the Syracuse Orangemen. Rony would be the second player in Syracuse history to notch 1,000 rebounds and 1,000 points. Insanity, man. Shows you the spin doctor, man, was getting busy. Rony's number 4 was retired at the Carrier Dome. And not only that, he ended up making the 20th century All-Syracuse team. Hats off to Rony, man. Just shows you, man, what he was doing, getting to the game. Before he got to the NBA, man, he was already on his way to being legendary. And in 1988, Rony would declare himself for the NBA draft and would be selected number 9 by the Miami Heat, making history as the first Heat college selection ever. Shows you, man, what the guy was doing, and he's notched in a lot of histories, man, especially in the NCAA level, and being the first original Miami Heat selected that was drafted out of college is just another notch, one of many notches on Rony Seikaly, the spin doctor's belt. What I like about Rony Seikaly, man, is that at least I was able to see him as a kid, and I still remember a lot of his games to this day. And I remember him at that time. There were a lot of great bigs, man. You had a lot of good bigs at that time, man. Him being up there and just in his first year here immediately made an impact, because a lot of highlights were shown of his on ESPN, especially late night, because I used to stay up late to watch a lot of ESPN highlights. And I used to say, man, this guy, for a big guy, his footwork is insane, man, because he had that spin move down pat, and he established himself very early on as one of the top centers in the NBA at that time. His second season with the Heat, he would make another impact where he would up his averages to 16 points per game, 10 boards, and 1 block. Let's talk about another impact he made, like he always did in college and high school. He was a rebounding machine, and he finished 6th in the NBA in rebounding that season. And while I'm at it, let's show a little quick clip, man, of the Spin Doctor so you guys can see what he brought to the game at the NBA level. Enjoy the highlights.
Select Rony Seikaly from Syracuse University.
Knocking down notch after notch, he would also take home another award. He would win the MIP award, which is the most improved player. Hats off to Rony, man. Great success story. During the 1990 and 91 season, he would up his rebounding averages to 11 rebounds per game while maintaining his 16 points per game. Help was on the way for the Miami Heat. He didn't have to take all the bulk of the scoring because they added 2 sharpshooters, who I'm going to talk about in a future episode. The sniper, the sharpshooter, Glenn Rice, and another smooth shooting, Steve Smith. And he also maintained his 6th spot that year in rebounding in the entire league, where he pulled down 11 boards per game. And with the help of those 2 sharpshooters, especially Glenn Rice and Steve Smith, they would achieve their first feat where the Miami Heat will make their first playoff berth. But unfortunately, they ran into a legend and the GOAT and the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, where the Miami Heat would get swept 3-0. Even though the Heat got swept that series, Rony Seikaly did his thing. He averaged in the playoffs 19 points and 9 boards per game. During the 1992-93 season, Rony would raise his averages to 17 points per game and 11 boards. And get this, on the week of March 7th, Rony Seikaly would take home Player of the Week, averaging numbers of 30 points per game and 20 rebounds. This guy was putting in work, man. I'm going to tell you, just the pleasure of me watching him, and I advise you guys, if you haven't watched Rony Seikaly, the Spin Doctor, watch some YouTube highlights and listen to me, man, and take it in, man, because he's one of the most underrated centers in the 90s, and he was doing his thing that year too, man. I remember that season. I remember I used him a lot in video games, and I loved Rony Seikaly, man. I loved his attitude. I loved his he seemed like he played with a lot of confidence. That's one thing I admired about Rony Seikaly. That he got on the court and he didn't care if he was going up against Shaq, Rick Smits, a lot of the top bigs back then, even Akeem, and he would give it his all, man. And that guy wore his heart on his sleeve, man. And he left it all on the basketball court, man. So you got to tip your hat to the Spin Doctor. During the following season, 93-94, Rony would finish 3rd in team scoring, and he would also lead the team in rebounds per game. And he would pull down 10 boards a night. They would go on to face the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs, earning another berth, where they would go down 3-2 by the Hawks, who were led by another legend who I'll be talking about in a future episode, Mookie Blaylock, and rebounding machine Kevin Willis. During his 6 years with the Miami Heat, Rony Seikaly would actually take home a slew of honors. He would lead the team in 34 rebounds, 8 blocks, and these are all single game accolades, and a slew of double-doubles. If you guys don't know Rony Seikaly was a double-double machine in the 90s. He was getting busy down there, scoring and rebounding. He was just a beast. But unfortunately, his run with the Heat after 6 years would come to an end, where he would be traded on November 2nd, 1994 for Billy Owens. of the Golden State Warriors. Rony would only appear in 36 games that season, but he was started in every each one of them. He would go on to average 12 points and 7 boards per game for the Golden State Warriors, but unfortunately that season the Warriors were marred by injury. During the 1995-96 season, the following year, Rony would start out of 60 out of 66 games that he appeared in. Once again, Rony would put up identical averages of 12 points and 7 boards per game, and the Warriors got the injury bug once again, and unfortunately, they missed the playoffs. His run with the Warriors would end, and he would end up getting traded to the Orlando Magic. What a lot of people don't know is that Rony Seikaly was brought in to replace another legend, Shaquille O'Neal, who left to the Los Angeles Lakers. So Rony Seikaly had big shoes to fill, but Rony Seikaly made the most of what his chances were in Orlando. He would join the likes of other solid veterans, scorers like Horace Grant, Dennis Scott, and sharpshooter Nick Anderson, who both were snipers. But you know, they also had my man, another guy I'm be doing a tribute for, my main guy, Penny Hardaway. Just sucked that his career was so short and wasn't able to reach a lot of his feats due to injury, with the likes of Grant Hill, Brandon Roy, Michael Redd, and a slew of other guys that had their careers cut short due to injury. Another guy that I love, TJ Ford. And get this, man, this goes to another feat and another notch on his belt. He finished second on a team, on a really good Orlando team that had some good scorers, and especially with Penny Hardaway. He finished second in scoring, averaging 17 points per game. Also led the Magic in rebounds per game, 9.5, and blocks, 1.4. The Magic will go on to win 45 games that year and earn a 7th seed spot in the NBA playoffs. And get this, man, he will go on to see a familiar foe, his former team, the Miami Heat, in the first round, who were led by another legend who I'll be doing a tribute for in the future, Alonzo Zoe Mourning. The Magic started off that series hot. They stormed out to a 2-0 lead against the Miami Heat. Due to the resilience of the Miami Heat, they would fight back and even the series up at home, 2-2. Unfortunately, Rony Seikaly would suffer injuries and would be forced out of Game 4 and Game 5, where the Heat would eventually win the series. The following season, in 1997-98, Rony would start in 45 games for the Orlando Magic. Fortunately, his run would come to an end that season. In February, he would be traded to the Utah Jazz, where he would never play one game for them because he refused to report. He would then be traded to the New Jersey Nets. Rony finished his career with the Magic, averaging 16 points per game and 7 boards. During that 1998-99 season, Rony would only play in 9 games due to a slew of foot injuries that kept him on the sidelines most of the season. Especially that season, it was lockout shortened. Following the 1999 season, Rony would officially retire from the game of basketball. His career totals would end with 14 points per game, 9 boards, and 1 block per game. After retiring, Rony would join the Spanish League in Barcelona and play for ACB, where he would go on to average 15 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 1 steal in 28 minutes played for Barcelona ACB. And Rony also would play in 2000-2001 with a top European club in Barcelona. During that season with that club, he would average 13 points and 5 rebounds per game. And get this, after leaving the game of basketball in Europe and closing out his chapter in the game of basketball, he would go into his other passion where he became a DJ and he would start producing and making actual beats. So it just goes to tell you the multifaceted talents of Rony Seikaly. I like about Rony, I listen to a lot of his music, DJing and what he produced. And he does a lot of techno and house music. I'm a house music fan myself. So sometimes I find myself, just going on YouTube and hop on and listen to his music, man. I suggest you guys check it out, man. Rony Seikaly, the DJ and producer, because he actually is a man of many talents. And his music is dope, man. If you guys get a chance, check it out. I like about Rony, I listen to a lot of his music, DJing and what he produced. And he does a lot of techno and house music. I'm a house music fan myself. So sometimes I find myself, just going on YouTube and hop on and listen to his music, man. I suggest you guys check it out, man. Rony Seikaly, the DJ and producer, because he actually is a man of many talents. And his music is dope, man. If you guys get a chance, check it out. And another notch on his belt that has nothing to do with basketball, but he's actually DJ'd all over the world in top like notch clubs. So it goes to show you, man, what the guy has done on and off the court. And hats off to Rony, man, pursuing your dreams. Like he said, sports would always be his love, but he said music would always be his passion. So I'm a man of multifaceted, passions and hobbies. So I commend him for that because I love music just as much as I love sports myself. If you guys haven't heard any of his music, man, check out a couple of his EPs. They're titled East West, Holding On, Swords, and In and Out. Also produced an album called Nervous Nightlife. You guys should check it out, man. It's pretty dope. I love it, man. And I want to know what you guys think in the comments. if you get a chance to listen to his music, man, because his music is nice, man. I'm not even saying that just because I like him. I'm saying it because I'm a fan of like house music. So just check that out. In 2019, he pursued another endeavor where he started his own music company titled Stride in 2019. The label has found a lot of success and the top number in the charts. He has 5 tracks when he started that record label. He had 5 tracks in the top 10 and top 3 that year in deep house music. Get this, in 2012, man, he would have his own radio station called Sugar Free Radio, which had a resounding success, and it was started as 4 days a week. So 4 days a week, he had a show, a music show with the deep house music, and it just explored the many talents of Rony Seikaly. And just go to show you the humanitarian and type of good person that he is, he actually played Magic Johnson in a one-on-one game. After Magic came out positive for HIV, a lot of people had a lot of negative things to say about him. But he also did it because he said he wanted to show that HIV is not contagious through touch. So it goes to show you the heart, man, that Rony Seikaly has. Rony also owns a real estate company, which is a multi-million-dollar business that he has. And it's a real estate investment company. So not only is he a smart man with basketball, DJ, multi-talented, humanitarian, overall a good person, but he's actually building generational wealth for himself and his family. Rony Seikaly at this moment is still very active in charity work with the Miami Heat. He runs charities called Shoot for the Stars, and he's also a contributor with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So this is going to wrap it up for Rony Seikaly, a.k.a. the Spin Doctor. One of the best underrated big men, especially in the late 80s, early 90s. One of the top. Known for his insane post moves, his rebounding, and his defense. Rony Seikaly, a.k.a. the Spin Doctor. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Go School Retro NBA, episode 31. If you like this episode, make sure you hit that like button, share, subscribe, and share with all your friends and family that just love good basketball discourse, especially from back in the day, and tributes for players that are forgotten about. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I'm Mari Hoops 84, and I'll see you on the next episode. That's going to wrap up Go School Retro NBA, episode 31. The Spin Doctor, Rony Seikaly. Thank you all. One love.